This sentence is like a merry-go-round. And is also like a merry-go-round. Is what this sentence is like. A merry-go-round.
Broadcasting from Nashville, Tennessee, offering a glimpse inside the music industry, shedding light on things they don't want you to know, and exposing some of the industry's biggest secrets. You're listening to the Turned Up Podcast, presented by Real Sound Productions. Here are your hosts, Jake Jones.
I love you.
Dang it, man.
And Robert Venable.
So then he came up to me and said, play that funky music, white boy.
Is that really how he said it?
Maybe, yeah, he sung that request to him.
Happy birthday, Robert.
Thanks. It's not even my birthday.
Mine either.
Hey, thanks for joining us on the Turned Up Podcast. I'm Robert Venable.
I'm Jake Jones.
Let's jump right into it.
Thank you for listening to the Turned Up Podcast. What are we talking about today, Robert?
No wonder. Or is it? We are talking about one-hit wonders.
One-hit wonders.
It's one of those things we've been wanting to talk about for a while, and if you've ever wondered about it, it's one of those... I guess we should define what a hit is first, so we can say what a one-hit wonder is. But it's one of those things that I've always heard, and I'm like, oh, whatever happened to that group? Whatever happened to that band? Or remember that song? Did they ever do anything else? Well, we've got the stories on maybe why they didn't and what those songs are.
That's right. So what we're calling a one-hit wonder would essentially just be an artist who had one successful hit song, one song that broke top 10 without a comparable subsequent hit. The term could also be applied to an artist who's remembered for only one song, despite maybe other successes. Like, you know, they're known
Martin,
for this one song.
Yeah, La Vida Loca by Ricky Martin. I think he had another song too that actually played on the radio.
He had other songs. He had Menudo. Yeah,
but everybody knows Ricky Martin from La Vida Loca.
Yeah,
that makes sense. Okay, so ground rules going into this. So it has to be like known for one song or only had one song that did significantly well on the charts. Going with that?
We're going with it. Okay. I do want to start with the 1960s. This was definitely a good decade for you. You were old enough to have witnessed the invention of sound and music and the universe and everything it entails.
It was just me and God hanging out.
Yeah, the Earth, what, 4.5 billion years old, something like that is the Earth?
Ish.
Earth.
Yeah,
okay.
A woman never reveals his... Wait, no. A true gentleman never reveals his own age.
So let's jump, billions of years in the future from when you were a small child to the 1960s.
Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday. Well, okay, let's jump into a song that I think everybody knows. Hey Baby. A guy by the name Bruce Chanel, back in March of 1962, broke the charts with that song. Hey, hey, baby. I remember covering that one in band. Like in marching band.
Yes.
I think you're required to learn that one.
Right. Yep. I was in 6th grade and 7th grade doing the same thing. Yeah.
So that's how I guess I learned the song was from that. But yeah, everybody knows that song. But did you know there was a harmonica player in the band when they were touring? His name was Delbert McClinton. And while Bruce Chanel, the band who I guess they're going by that name, Bruce Chanel, the main singer, was touring with the Beatles. The harmonica player, Delbert McClinton, actually taught John Lennon how to play harmonica.
Wouldn't that just be awesome to say, I'm the guy who taught John Lennon how to play harmonica?
I think if they had Twitter, he would have tweeted that. Or maybe he was too humble and wouldn't have, but everybody would be like, oh man, did you teach John Lennon? I want harmonica
He would have
lessons.
posted a selfie with John Lennon at some point. Just hashtag harmonica lessons.
Humble Fridays. I don't know, something. Humble brag, just me and John Lennon. Blowing through harps.
NBD.
No big deal. Throwback Thursday, the time I taught one of the Beatles how to play harmonica.
You're right.
You're welcome at John Lennon.
Okay, so another song, another one that I remember learning in band actually from the 60s is Na 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 Hey Kiss Him Goodbye.
I never knew that was the full title.
Me
song.
either, actually.
Like, hey,
Na 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 Na.
Goodbye. I think we learned that one too. I played that on basketball games or whatever.
Na, 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 na.
Only if your team won.
Na, 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 na. Right.
So, well, tell me about the song.
Well, so it was by Steam, who is a studio-only group. Paul Lika?
Yeah.
Leka?
I think it's Paul Lika.
Paul Lika put together a band called Steam to tour behind it once it became a hit. The band broke up before they ever went on the tour, so he put together another band.
Well, I actually know something about this.
Okay, yeah, because I think that's all actually pretty funny. Write a song, it goes big. Shoot, I guess we need a band. We put a band together, it breaks up before they ever get a chance to tour.
That story sounds eerily familiar. You should look up the band You Hang Up. Frankie, if you're listening, look at that one. You know about it. So Paul Lika, that you're talking about from the band Steam, with the fake air quotes band Steam, actually put together a band called the Lemon Pipers, and they had another one-hit wonder called Green Tambourine.
Don't join a band with this with old Lika there.
I mean, co-write with them for sure. Just don't join a band though. So the Lemon Pipers, this new band that Paul Lika wrote the song Green Tambourine, or co-wrote it for. Actually, it went to the top of the charts. It hit number 1 on the Billboard Top 100. It spent 13 weeks there, and it was actually one of the first bubblegum pop songs to chart top there. 13
weeks. That's over 3 months.
And the song actually sold over 1 million copies.
Quarter of a year. That's a big deal for the 60s.
It's a good going, Paul Lika. Let's co-write if you're still around.
Hey, let's jump a decade.
All right, let's go. Let's fast forward into the 70s. What was going on in the 70s? That's our fast forward into the 70s music.
Well, you know what was going on in the 70s, right?
Tell me about
Everybody
the 70s.
was kung fu fighting.
Everybody was kung fu fighting. Those kids were fast as lightning.
I know that Carl Douglas put out Everybody Was Kung Fu Fighting in 1974, and that is his only hit.
So Carl Douglas, the guy who wrote that, was actually the first Jamaican-born artist to ever have a number 1 on the U.S. charts.
And he had a follow-up single that just was a killer called Dance the Kung Fu.
So he kind of had a niche he was trying to hit there. Kung Fu fighting and then Dance the Kung Fu. I definitely haven't heard of one of those.
Only enough room on the charts for one Kung Fu song
ever
for the history of forever.
The history of charts. Only one Kung Fu song, please. And
already checked that box.
When I think of Jamaican songwriters or singers, I don't think Carl Douglas as a name to come from Jamaica.
Carl Douglas.
Now I do. Thanks. All right, so I have a funny story to tell about this next song that, Jake, I told you right before we started recording this podcast, and I'll share with you, our listeners, in a second. But, okay, the song Lovin' You.
Loving you is easy 'cause you're beautiful.
I don't like how you make deep eye contact with me while you're singing that song, Jake. Jake's unzipping his jacket right now and pulling down the collar of his shirt. Okay, so we all know that song, and that's the song by Minnie Riperton, who it broke into the charts in April of 1975. Why didn't she have another single? I don't know. But I do know that she, unfortunately, rest her soul, died of cancer 4 years later. But not before blessing this world with a beautiful daughter by the name of Maya Rudolph. Do you know that name, Jake?
I do know that name from one of my favorite television shows.
Saturday Night Live.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, and she actually does skits several times where she's singing songs, and she has a pretty decent voice.
Maya Rudolph.
Actually, in the end of the song, Lovin' You, you'll hear Minnie singing Maya. Just listen to the outro. She's actually singing the word Maya.
Singing to her little girl.
Maya, 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 Maya.
And another little fun fact, that's probably the last Minnie to ever chart on the Billboard charts.
Really?
If you know of a new Minnie since then, let me know.
Yeah, I don't. Minnie Mouse, but I don't think she charted.
At least not since 1975. Mm-mm. Come on, Minnie, step it up.
So one of my favorites, no, not even close to my favorite, but definitely one of those songs that gets stuck in your head that will not go away is Do the Hustle.
If you don't know the song, you know the dance.
Van McCoy, 1975, The Hustle came out, and much like Minnie, unfortunately died 4 years later. You don't want a number 1 hit in the 70s, people.
And if you live 5 years later, you're all right.
Right. A heart attack at the age 39.
So very unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Man. So perhaps Minnie and Van did not come out with singles because of their deaths, or maybe they were one-hit wonders already, and I don't know. Let's lighten the mood a little bit. How about this song? Wild Cherry in September of 1976 hit the charts with that one, Play That Funky Music, which is rumored to actually be based on a real event that happened in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
A black clubgoer asked the band, "Are you white boys going to play some funky music?" I guess they did.
Play that funky music, white boy. I wonder if he literally said those exact words.
I hope so. I mean, it was
Play
in
that
quotes.
funky music, right?
That was how the conversation went. So then he came up to me and said, "Play that funky music, white boy."
Is that really how he said it?
Maybe, yeah, he sung that request to him. So there's the song "Ring My Bell" by Anita Ward. My wife despises this song. I think because her mother played this on repeat. I guess she fell in love with the song. You know, when you find a song that you love, you just play it on repeat. So it was a record or a cassette tape or something at the time.
A rec what?
A record.
Or
A cassette tape.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, they're most commonly referred to as cup coasters. You just put them on your table and put your cup on them because that's the only purpose they serve right now.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, you might have seen them before.
Yes.
That or in landfills.
Yes.
Or hipsters' closets.
Yep.
Yeah, well, so while Anita Ward was trying to ring my bell, back in June of 1979, she was actually a school teacher before that song hit. So for all you school teachers out there listening to us right now, there's still hope.
If it's 1979.
Well, I mean, I guess you're right on that one, because it's not anymore. But, if you've listened to our other 20 podcasts, you find out that actually is impossible now. So good luck. Keep your day job. Dun, 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 dun.
My Sharona.
Ooh, the year is 1979. Take us there, Jake.
My Sharona by the Neck. 1979. Sharona Alperin, 17 years old, is the subject of the singer's writing for a few months, then became his girlfriend of 4 years.
So I also heard there's a rumor that she is the one on the cover of that album when that song
Really?
came out.
I had not heard that one.
I have to look it up and see what that looks like. Googling.
It did spend 6 weeks at the #1 spot in the United States.
Definitely don't look up the cover of this album. I think it's time to make your little sound effect for fast forwarding into the future because we're going to hit the 80s. Who doesn't like running in slow motion to Chariots of Fire by Vangelis?
Vangelis, that's how you say that. Okay, I was reading it and I just had that word going much differently in my brain. So I'm glad you said it and not me.
You know, I've always said it that way since my grandmother gave me a cassette tape of that in the early 90s to listen to, and which is a decade after this came out in 1982 of May. But I don't know if it's Vangelis. Maybe it's...
I don't know. If I had to say it,
Vangelis?
we might have lost our clean rating. So.
I don't know how to say it, and man, I should be fired from my job for not knowing how to say this One Hit Wonder's band name.
Come on, Eileen.
Oh, good segue. Who did that one?
That song is by... Okay, I do want to say this, and this just comes with the territory of One Hit Wonders. Of course, we all know the song titles.
Oh, yeah.
We all know the hooks. We know how they go, but I don't know most of these artists. It's just really interesting because I'm looking at it going, oh yeah, come on, Eileen, right? By the Dexys Midnight Runners. I would have never known that.
Because, I mean, yeah, looking down the list of these names, I don't know most of these artists' names. I just know the songs, and I probably know dances to go along with them.
That song came out on my mom's 30th birthday.
Did you know that Come On Eileen actually kept Michael Jackson from having back-to-back #1 singles on the chart? It was right after Billie Jean. Billie Jean had the chart-topping song right before Come On Eileen, and then right after that was Beat It. So, way to go, Dex's Midnight Runners.
So was it #1 for 1 week?
I don't know. I don't know how long it was there. Yeah, I think so. That makes sense because the article I read said that it was the following week.
So fun fact, the singer actually fired the drummer in the middle of them filming their music video for the song.
In the middle of it?
Yep. So he's only visible for the first half of the video.
As drummers should be. But did you know that they had a previous #1 single in the UK called Gino?
I had no idea.
In 1980. It did well, but I guess the only one that charted in the US was Come On Eileen.
I didn't even know what they were called till just now.
Do you know the name Tony Basil?
So again, it kind of sounds familiar. Do I know the song?
Like, who's Tony? Who's he?
Right.
It's actually Tony with an I.
Hey, Mickey.
Come on. That was December of 1982 when that one hit the charts.
Tony Basil.
So Tony started out as a choreographer on Shindig, but and was almost, pushing 40 years old when this song came out. Can you imagine? Man, it's still...
She was ancient.
Watch your mouth, son. I can imagine being almost 40 putting out a single for the very first time and being a huge epic song that everybody knows.
Well, you're on track.
Shut up, Jake. And
I just want to know, at 40 years old, how was she able to still wear her high school cheerleading outfit?
That's all.
For that music video.
That's all I think about when I hear this song is seeing them in the cheerleading uniforms.
Yep.
Doing that little pyramid. Okay, so fast forward a couple of years to November of 1985. So the Miami Vice theme by Jan Hammer, hit the charts in 85, but was the last instrumental #1 on the Billboard charts.
Ever.
Since 85. Don't worry, be happy. Did you like my accent?
That was good.
Man, I didn't even practice.
The year, September 1988. Jake Jones
The world felt a little better that year.
is 6 months old.
Welcome, Jake Jones.
His parents are pulling their hair out thinking, what sort of monstrosity have we birthed into this world? And this song comes out just in time to keep me alive.
Don't worry, be happy. That was a good one. Who did that one?
That was Bobby McFerrin.
Dude.
Again, a name I am so not familiar with, but a song I am incredibly familiar with.
Everybody knows Don't Worry, Be Happy.
So he stopped playing it when George Bush began using it in his 1988 presidential campaign. Of course, that's George Bush Sr.
So I'm guessing that Bobby McFerrin was not a conservative.
I'm guessing not.
Well, let's fast forward a little bit closer to where we are now, to the 1990s.
Of course, my favorite decade for music.
Well, probably because of this song.
I'm too sexy for my love, too sexy for my love, love's going to leave me.
You know, that song sounds very familiar. Maybe
How?
a little reminiscent of something that came out just at the tail end of last year.
I heard some press about that one.
We actually even talked about it on our podcast.
Yes, sir.
That is I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred, who just got songwriting credit for Taylor Swift's one of her new singles.
Look what you made me do.
What you made me do. Look what you made me do. Look what you just made me do. Look what you just made me.
That song came out in February of 1992. Not the Taylor Swift song, but the Right Said Fred song. And actually, I didn't know this until our research for this podcast, that he actually sampled a little bit of Third Stone from the Sun by Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Really?
And so I'll have to go back and look that up.
So coming into the 90s here, I'm going to guess that our list is about to get very long because I do know that the 90s was chock full of one-hit wonders.
It seemed like, and I remember this very well, that anybody who was pretty talented, it just seemed easier to break into the industry to me because there were so many different artists. And so you'd hear a song like, who is that? What else do they do? It's just so confusing. Whereas now you say an artist's name, you can name 5 songs by them because they're playing the same artists repeatedly with different songs.
Right, yeah.
So I feel like the 90s was just this huge burst of random genres too. We had the post-grunge thing going on. There was all this, the indie rock thing was coming around. A whole bunch of female singers were doing the rock thing.
Hip-hop getting big.
Pop.
Gangster rap.
Everything was kind of changing. Crunk music was coming around.
Yeah.
Dude. Let's talk about country for a second. Just don't tell my heart. My achy breaky heart.
Don't tell my heart, my achy breaky heart. I just don't think he'd understand. And if you tell my heart,
Mike Breaky Heart.
he might blow.
Ding, 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 ding.
Okay, so I am
This is 1992.
5 years old. This song has already been out for a year,
Okay.
and I'm preparing to take guitar lessons. I'm trying to convince my parents that I'm serious and I want to learn. And so my friend Nate and I stand in the living room with my new guitar that I've just acquired recently for Christmas. And I perform a concert in front of my parents and their friends of Achy Breaky Heart to prove that I'm ready to take guitar lessons.
And what was the outcome?
I took guitar lessons. I hated them.
Oh, dude.
And
So
I became
you
a
learned
professional guitarist.
you learned that song for no reason whatsoever.
No reason whatsoever. This is my favorite song at the time.
That hit number 4 on the Billboard Top 100. Like I said, in 92. But I think a lot of people, you probably know the song. Everybody knows the song, but Weird Al did a parody of it. I know Alvin and the Chipmunks did a cover of it. And we all know who Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter is, at least one of them.
I like his daughter, Hannah Montana.
Oh, yeah, that's also his
She
daughter.
was sweet. then he had that other daughter. Was Sirius?
Miley Cyrus. Millie Cyrus.
Something like that. Anyway, it's just crazy. So I feel like if Weird Al does a parody of your song, you know you've made it.
I think so. I feel like if anybody makes a parody of your song, if it's well known enough to someone to find it and then make their own version of it.
Fun fact about me, Robert, something you may or may not know.
Hit me.
I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny that when a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get.
What happened?
She just sound like a lady.
Okay. Sir Mix-a-Lot's Baby Got Back. That song came out July 1992.
Yes, and that's pretty much all he had. I can't think of another. I mean, obviously, there's not another huge hit, but I can't think of another song by Sir Mix-a-Lot.
Yeah, that's his big breakout hit.
Yeah, I mean,
His
I know
big one hit.
he later tried to collaborate with the presidency of the United States of America, but that never came out. So I don't think he's done anything since then. I have to tell a story about Lovin' You from Minnie back in the day. I said I had a story about that. So we were at a theme park, Six Flags, and they have one of those rides. I don't know what it's called, but it looks like a big giant space needle where everybody sits in a circle with their back to the space needle.
Oh, yeah.
And the ring goes all the way up to the very top, like hundreds of feet up, and then unexpectedly just randomly drops you straight down.
The suspense on that ride is what...
Right. And it's like the anti-gravity. It makes you feel like you're floating and you're going to barf right afterwards. Okay, so we were there. We didn't go on that ride. We were walking to another ride right by that one. And the host, I guess the guy in control, he's got a little radio thing. He can talk, like a microphone. He can talk to the people like, all right, keep your hands and feet, blah, 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 blah. But it's like a teenager, and he starts singing Lovin' You. Lovin' You. Dun, 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 dun. Right. And as this thing's going up really slowly, he's singing the whole verse. He's getting to the chorus. And then it gets to that part where it's really, 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 really high-pitched, which I can't even mimic. And that's when he hits the release button for the ride to drop. And all these people scream.
Just the people screaming.
At the top of their lungs, hits that note. I thought it was the funniest thing I'd heard.
That is genius.
So next time you ride one of those things, just think of that song. And try to time it just right.
It is hit me.
Whoop, it is.
Now, are you saying whoop or are you saying whoop?
See, I didn't know there was an M in it.
I only knew an M being in it. Whoop, there it is. Okay. But the reason you might not know that from this song from 1993 by Tag Team was actually a band. Actually, because there was a group called 95 South who did an eerily similar version called Whoop, there it is. I'm sorry, called Woot, there it is. So there's Whoop, there it is, and there's Woot, there it is.
Really?
And they battled it out to like, whose song is this? They went to the copyright office. They got this big old thing. Tag Team in 95 South, like who's gonna make it? Who's the song that's gonna hit it? Because Whoop, there it is, hit the charts in June 12th of 1993. And the very next week, 95 South hit the charts with Woot, there it is. So the public's even confused, like you said you were. You didn't know there's an M in there. Because they battled it out. Now, who won? I say Tag Team did, because there's a jock jam of Whoop, there it is. And if you don't know jock jams, you should look it up. It's like that greatest hits type CDs that came out with all those things that people like to play sports too and shoot balls and hit pucks and lift weights and all that stuff.
I don't understand what any of those things are.
We're not jocks. We were in Glee Club. I did do West Side Story, the musical. Yeah, so I think Tag Team wins that one. Whoop, there it is. And that was 1993.
How bizarre.
What? Clever, the song.
So that song is by OMC.
Yeah.
I would have never known that.
If I said, hey, what's your favorite OMC song? Who? Run DMC?
Right. Oh, yeah, Run. Yeah, so 1996. So the reason that we don't know who these guys are, and the reason that this was just one hit, is because 2 years after it came out, there was a huge falling out between the two members over a royalties dispute. The lead vocalist, Paulie... How do you say that, Robert?
Fumana?
Fumana?
Yeah, that's how I'd say it.
He continued on as a solo artist under the OMC name and never produced another album. He died in 2010 at the age of 40.
So, man.
Yeah, I'm just gonna throw this out there. I don't think he's gonna have another hit.
Probably not that member of OMC. I don't know what the other guy's doing. Yeah, I mean, like you said, Jake, the 90s were just chock full of tons of... I mean, we could go on and on and on and on and on and on. Let's just name a few of these, like without getting into details. Like the Rembrandts, I'll Be There For You.
I'll be there
From
for
Friends.
you. Yep.
Yeah.
We've got Natalie Imbruglia, Torn.
This is how I feel. I'm cold and I am shamed, lying naked on the floor.
Lou Bega, Mambo No. 5. I don't know what happened to the first four of them.
They got lost.
Obviously not hits.
A little bit of Erica by my side.
Lynn, Steal My Sunshine.
I know it's up for me.
I remember that. Oh, You Can Always Jump Around with House of Pain.
Ben Folds 5, Brick.
I see Ben Folds from time to time in Franklin.
Really?
Here, just south of Nashville, yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, he has a house, or had a house right there on West Main Street. I used to see him walking around, and he'd eat at Genghis Grill. And Hadaway, What Is Love? I know that from Night at the Roxbury, or like from all the Saturday Night Lights skits.
What is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Will Ferrell and Chris Kattan? Is that the two that were doing it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Head bobbing.
Semisonic, Closing Time.
We also just covered that one and talked about what that was really about.
Closing time. Open all the doors.
Chumbawamba, Tub Thumping.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. Or, as my brother said, I get knocked down by an elephant. And then the Verve, like Bittersweet Symphony.
Which I just learned samples strings out of an arrangement from an old Rolling Stones song. And there's a big lawsuit there, and blah, blah, blah. Rolling Stones want a writing credit for the song.
That's probably why they didn't make another song.
Right?
'Cause it's a bittersweet symphony that's live.
Man, let's jump back. Let's jump forward into the 2000s. Oh, real quick before we get to that, the one I was telling you about earlier that was just all words was Wear Sunscreen. Do you remember that song at all?
I don't.
It was...
I don't think so.
Man, who did that one? That was Boz Lerman or something like that. Boz Lerman. And that one hit the charts for just a little bit here at the end of the 90s, 97. And it's just weird. I remember when it came out, and I was in high school, or that's what I like to tell people. And it was just one of those, wear sunscreen. Blah, 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 blah. Like very down tempo, just spoken word thing, but it hit the charts.
Huh.
Wear sunscreen. If I could offer you only one tip for the future, sunscreen would be it. The long-term benefits of sunscreen have been proved by scientists, whereas the rest of my advice has no basis more reliable than my own meandering experience. I will dispense this advice now. Enjoy the power and beauty of your youth. Oh, never mind. You will not understand.
Anyway, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah.
Come, my lady, come, my lady. You're my butterfly, sugar, baby.
So, Crazy Town did a song called Butterfly. Sugar, baby. in early 2001. It hit the charts.
Come, my ladies.
Yeah, hit the charts in March 2001. And that was actually their third single off of their album, The Gift of Game, which is interesting because I don't know why it even made it that far if the label put out 2 singles before that did nothing. Let's just keep putting out singles. One of these is going to hit. I guess that one did. And it spent 2 weeks at the top at number 1. So, I mean, it was there for a little bit.
And then bye-bye.
We'll see you later. And then, Butterfly Flew Away.
So this song is a little bit special to me, Daniel Powter's Bad Day, because my wife now, who we weren't even dating, her and her sister asked me to come in and help them write a parody of that song called It's Your Birthday for a friend of ours. And that was in June of 2006 that we did that.
And this one
came out in April of 06.
This one was actually blown up because it became like the little farewell song at the end of American Idol season 5.
Yep.
And everybody's like, "Oh, what's that song? Let's look it up." And then it just went crazy and hit the top of the charts and stayed up there for a little bit. I did know that he had 3 other top 40 hits in Canada, where he's from, but nothing here in the States.
I bet he's really nice.
It probably is.
So I remember being it was my senior year of high school, 2006, March, getting ready to graduate. And then James Blunt comes out with
You're beautiful. You're beautiful.
Also by Kermit.
You're beautiful.
Just kidding. I really like that song. I think a lot of people like that song, which is how it hit the charts.
I bought the album on compact disc.
Oh, you were that guy.
To play in my compact disc player.
I probably downloaded it illegally from LimeWire at the time. Napster, maybe? I don't know. It was big in 2006.
LimeWire.
That's probably LimeWire.
Napster kind of.
I probably put it on a mix CD, a mix compact disc to play in my Grand Am.
Give to a girlfriend.
I don't know what I had. No, I was married in 2006. I was married in 2005.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Come on, man.
You'd been married for 50 or 60 years by then.
We were celebrating our golden anniversary. But yeah, that one, he followed it up with Goodbye, My Lover. So he first said, You're beautiful, and then he said, Goodbye, My Lover. And I guess that one only reached number 66 on the charts. So he said, Goodbye, James Blunt.
He had a really unique voice.
He did. Let's wrap up the 2000s and head up to the 2010s.
Which is so strange because the 2000s and 2010s, it all just kind of runs together for me. It doesn't really feel like there was a decade switch.
We were both really busy over that decade switch, I think.
That's true.
We're just pretty ingrained and engrossed with what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it was, I mean, it's kind of blurs together. It's cool. Okay, we're moving to the 2010s now, but I still had to go to work the next day. Or whatever. I don't know.
Almost the 2020s. Well, of course, one that we just have to talk about first because I think it was a sign of the times as far as music exploding and how big it got, how quickly it got huge, and then how quickly it died off.
Oppan Gangnam Style. Gangnam Style.
I mean, it's been recent enough that I think everyone will remember the song.
And I think it's been long enough to know that he's probably not going to have another one that hits that big.
Yeah.
So we can call him a one-hit wonder.
He is, of course, South Korean. The song exploded worldwide, and I've heard a lot of speculation as to how serious or not serious is the song. Of course, in the United States, we don't take it very seriously. It looks like it's intended to be pretty funny.
Yeah, kind of cheeky.
It also birthed
Pin, Pineapple, Apple Pin, that one?
Pineapple, Apple Pin, yeah.
Yeah, when both of those came out, it was kind of like a whirlwind. I didn't know what was happening. When Gangnam Style came out, what in the world is this? This is a joke? I mean, yeah, I guess kinda, but it worked.
Catchy, had a good beat, nice melody.
Yeah, I mean,
funny video.
It was just an interesting time when Gangnam Style came out.
Yes.
It's just weird. Okay, hey, do you remember Bulletproof by LaRue?
I loved that song, and I loved the video too.
That was June of 2010, and that was actually their third single. And so again, 2 songs came out before, they did nothing, and then this one comes out and reached number 8 on the U.S. charts, and in the UK hit number 1.
So I thought LaRue looks like LaRaux. I thought LaRue was the girl's name, but no, it's they're a duo, and her name is actually Ellie.
Huh.
Yeah.
This time, baby, I'll be bulletproof.
Gautier. We had to put this one on the list.
Yeah, okay. Gautier, if you're listening, I'm sorry. I know you weren't happy about being called a one-hit wonder when you were first accused or stated that you were. But, I mean, I think it's looking like you are right now.
I mean, and truth be told, Gautier, you are simply somebody that I used to know.
Oh, don't be so harsh. I still know you.
It's a joke.
So
It's a joke.
that would have been 2013?
2012.
2012.
Yep. So it peaked at number 1 in most countries around the world. I could list them, but it's most of them.
That was a big, I mean, even just Saskatchewan? Yeah, even Poland.
I love Saskatchewan chicken.
I'll have sweet and sour's fine.
So something, fact I did not know about the song is that guitar bit at the beginning that I always thought was cool. I was like, oh, they made it sound like it's old. It's because it is old. It's a sample of a song by Luis Bonifa.
A song called Seville.
Which is just an instrumental.
How do they find these things?
I don't know.
Do the producers find them? The writers find them? Just scouring
It's like
YouTube for old songs?
My favorite song. I've always wanted to sample it. Let me go get my record from my trunk because I keep it with me in case I get an opportunity to listen to it.
What else hit in the 2010s? The cheerleader song by, is it Omi?
Found myself a cheerleader.
Oh, I think that I found myself a cheerleader. She is always right there when I need her.
Which is ironic because he's single and still hasn't found his cheerleader.
Really?
Yeah.
I did hear that his mom is his biggest cheerleader.
So maybe it's about his mom. I wonder if I have to look at the lyrics and make sure it's appropriate.
If that's his mom in the music video, then
he's aging well. She's aging well. I did read, a little interview with him that said that the most expensive thing, like what did he do with his earnings from this single?
Right, so you get the big money from the song being number 1 or whatever.
If you don't know how much money that is, you should listen to our previous episode where we're talking about, we broke it down. You sell 1 million copies.
Big money.
Yeah. So what did he do with that success and that money? He bought new rims for his brown Infiniti, which is his daily driver. He drives a brown Infiniti and souped it up a little bit.
Which I would love to know where he's from. Jamaica, I think. I'm not sure. I don't. The flag is yellow, green, and black.
He's got that accent. I would guess somewhere.
Found myself a cheerleader.
I hope you've enjoyed our trek through the decades from the 60s to the 2010s on all these artists who came out with songs that we all know that only did one song that we all know.
I know that there are plenty of one-hit wonders that we definitely didn't put on our list.
Oh, hundreds of them. There are literally hundreds of one-hit wonders.
We do want to know, what is your favorite one-hit wonder?
I would consider, if you're asking me, Ice Ice Baby by Vanilla Ice.
Bum 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 ba da dum bum. Bum, bum.
Again, sampled or claimed to have ripped off Under Pressure, but
which is a pretty blatant.
It's very obvious
Borrowing of it, whatever. I assume he wound up having to pay for that because there's just no way around.
If you want to know, you should check out our episode. We covered that one. Oh snap!
That's right.
Yeah, I think that one was a pretty well-known one-hit wonder we didn't talk about, but I think that's probably my favorite.
Yeah. The Click 5.
'Cause she's bittersweet. She knocks me off of my feet, and I can't help myself.
Man, I forgot about that one.
I thought that song was hilarious.
There are so many.
Some of those guys, their one hits were so huge that it launched their name into superstardom.
Right.
They've been able to do other things with their fame.
I wonder if they'd released other songs before those songs that could have gone like huge, and then they released that one to be a mega hit on top of that. But because of the order they did it, like, well, let's put this song out first, and then every other song's like, eh.
Right. If you could go back and do one thing different in your career, it would change your whole career forever.
Yeah, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20, and there's always the what ifs, but
yeah, my hindsight is like 20/30 probably.
You see really well backwards.
It's okay. It's not as great as just 2020. It's not perfect.
Did you notice that our intro was a lot shorter than normal? I bet you didn't.
I bet you did. Hey, hit us up on social media and let us know what your favorite one-hit wonder is. Of course, Instagram and Twitter
at Turned Up Podcast
and Facebook.com/
Turned Up Podcast.
Can't miss us. And of course, always turneduppodcast.com.
Dude, we haven't talked about this. Did you read the reviews that we've gotten recently on the iTunes podcast app?
I saw one that's really funny.
Yeah, there have been a couple on there that have made me really laugh. And we've gotten a lot of feedback via, private messages and DMs, slid into the DMs, whatever, that said, hey, maybe your intro's a little long. So that's why our intro was shorter this time.
That's right. We chopped it off.
What do you think we should do?
As long as nobody knows who we are, then
the next episode is gonna be completely anonymous.
That's what our favorite pastimes are. Like long walks on the beach.
Hopefully their hindsight's a little more blurry than
it's my favorite movie.
Oh man.
Yes, so thank you so much for listening this week.
And thank you to Real Sound for giving us a platform to be able to talk about weird things like one-hit wonders.
Absolutely. And thank you, Robert, for doing research into this podcast. And thank you, Real Sound Productions, for editing and mixing.
Yeah, make it sound good, Real Sound.
This podcast was hosted by Robert Venable, who is an award-winning producer, engineer, and recording studio owner. He's been in movies. He's got gold records, Dove Awards, Grammy nominations, and is a very talented multi-instrumentalist. Is a drummer for the band As We Ascend, is currently learning guitar, and loves long walks on the beach and chocolate turtles dipped in tomato paste.
It's a weird thing of mine, but it's true. Jake Jones, man, I appreciate you saying all those nice things about me, especially since you yourself are a chart-topping songwriter, producer, mixer, engineer. In addition to all of that fun stuff, are able to play guitar in the band As We Ascend, as well as sing in the band As We Ascend. Used to play guitar in the national touring, chart-topping band We As Human.
We a Tumen?
We a Tumen, according to one guy in some random state. And what was it, New Mexico? Where was it?
Daytona Beach, Florida.
Oh, way off.
We a Tumen, my favorite band.
You should look up their stuff as well as We Ascend. We've got some interesting songs out there that everybody seems to like and keep buying. So, hey, thank you for that. Also, Jake Jones, in addition to all of those musical accolades, you yourself also enjoy long walks on the beach, but also short walks on sidewalks. And that's what you do in your spare time.
That's right. Short walks on sidewalks.
And that's your new book, right?
Short walks on sidewalks, yes. It's coming out in the fall. Thank you so much for listening to us this week. We look forward to hearing from you. Please, if you like the podcast, leave us a rating and a review on iTunes or Stitcher or Overcast or CastBox or anywhere that you listen to podcasts, because we are everywhere.
And if you're just down for a good time, you should go there and just read the reviews, because it's hilarious.
They are really, really funny.
A lot of jokes and stabs at my age, but hey, I deserve it.
I've been screenshotting them and sending them to you all week. Until next week. No, that's your line.
No, say it. Go ahead. Jake, take my line.
Until next week.
This is Turned Up Podcast signing out.
Peace.
You're listening to the Turned Up Podcast. Turned Up Podcast. You're listening to the Turned Up Podcast. Turned Up Podcast.